decide to step up to this kind of power, this kind of challenge, this kind of flying, crashing feeling, when you decide to get serious, there's only one place to come, the games of Super Nintendo. No one else creates this kind of experience, because no one else creates these kinds of games. Now you're playing with power, superpower.
Alright, welcome back. This is another episode about let's going back in time for people that care to listen to it. Because again, we're in our 40s now, so this is back when I was 11 or 12. It's been that damn long. It's crazy. Like,
Just turning down Final Fight because it's just the phone ringing.
hold on.
How you doing, Math?
No, it's you gotta excuse me.
Getting emotional over there.
Well, it's not about the game.
Yeah.
It's about my dad.
Yeah.
Hey,
Take your time.
I'm not ashamed to say all this, for y'all.
Yeah.
I just us telling these stories about Mortal Kombat and just going back. I'm sorry. I know I didn't expect this shit. It's just because of my dad.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, it's weird to think, like me and Robert said, I have my family, and growing up with my cousins and all that, you got little groups of people that you do different things with, and each people that you're with, you have your own little things with, and like with me and my cousins got our things with wrestling eventually and all that. Well, Rob, like we've been telling you on these videos about our little thing, we had our little world of these games that like helped us escape from bullshit. Like, growing up, it was hard. It was hard. Like where I live, you getting picked on, all this crazy shit. Yeah. And so we had things that we would cling to help us get through this shit. Now, this had to be 90, 91. Whenever Super Nintendo, I'm not sure on the exact dates. Whenever Super Nintendo was coming out, or had just come out anyway, my dad, left field, like, my dad was a crazy person in a good way. And we were always real close. I didn't live with my dad, and this has a point. But so he would come visit me, basically, just to sum it up real quick. When I was a kid, I lived with my grandma, and every weekend, my dad would come pick me up, and we'd go out to eat or do whatever. And it's weird to think that, of all people, a lot of my video game history, my memories are tied with my dad. It's weird. He was kind of a background character, but he was directly involved in it, like a big impact on my memories. Like, he would come over on the weekends, and we used to go to this Mexican restaurant in Northside. I don't know if you're familiar with this area. It was called Los Alamos, and there were these two brothers, Alex and Alfred, and they're two Mexican guys. They're real nice guys, and my dad had been friends with them for years. And it was one of my first, through them, it was my first introduction to a lot of home system games. Because again, I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't get a lot of shit. I'd piggyback off Rob, like we said. And anyway, just casually one day, we're sitting there eating, and Alfred comes up. He goes, "Hey," do you like video games? And I was like, "What?" My ears just perk up. I go, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "When you get done eating, come here." I was like, "Okay." So I ate real quick, and I was like, "Okay, this is kind of weird." And so he took me over. I asked my dad, "Hey, he wants to show me something." He's all right. So I went over there and went to this back room. Some little, I don't know what it was, just a back room. And he opened the door. He goes, "Going in there." And I was like, "What the fuck?" It was kind of really weird. I was like, "Okay." So I go in there, and again, I'm like, it had to be 10, maybe 10, 11, maybe, I don't know. But around 1990, 91. And so I went in there, and I immediately I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, this dude had a table full of had a TV, he had game systems, had boxes of fucking games, like systems I never even heard of. He had TurboGrafx 16, all that. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" Like, this left field, like, he had fucking Neo Geo shit, I think, like this crazy shit that me and Rob knew nothing about. There's like a whole other dimension of games, because we only knew the Nintendo and the Genesis and all that. And so my wig was blown off. "What is this?" He goes, "Oh, I collect video games." I was like, "What the fuck?" And he goes, "You can play whatever you want." I was like, wow. And so he went and, I can't remember if he helped me hook him up. There was a box in front of me. I remember it had a bunch of TurboGrafx 16 cards.
Yeah.
And all this and that.
Later we got more familiar with those systems.
Yeah, but this is just left field interjection into our world, you know. And so I'm in there, I'm like this, what the fuck? And so I was blown away by the graphics and all this. I was playing TurboGrafx 16. I remember seeing Splatterhouse for the first time. I was like, what the fuck? And then I remember at some point, I remember there's a flash there. I think I played Street Fighter a little bit. I didn't get to play a lot of that, and just little pinches of things. But I was just blown away by getting to play all those games. And it was a ritual with my dad. Like every weekend, he'd come get me. I said, "We gotta go eat at Los Alamos." And so he's like, "All right." And, he didn't care. He's like, "Whatever." So we go. I just shovel. You get the plate like this. You just rotate it and shovel. I'd shovel my food. And I said, "Gotta go." I'd be back there the whole time. I'd try to milk it, stay there for a while. Playing them games. And well, anyway, fast forward a little bit. A Saturday came, and again, this was when Super Nintendo was new, still, new things, the new big shit, And of course, I couldn't afford the old bootleg, Anyway, so I'm at the house. It was on a Saturday or whatever. Maybe it was on a Friday. My dad come pick me up, and we went to this little bar. Down off Main Street, some little back alley. I need to find that building and see if it's still there. Little back alley, tiny hole in the wall bar. This house is bigger than that fucking bar. But we went there, and people probably think I messed up taking this kid to the bar, but it wasn't like that. We would go sit and he'd watch football, and just real casual. We sit there, and one day in particular, he's watching football, and I'm sitting there with him for hours, and I'm sort of rattling on about games. Oh, no. And my dad, he was the type, he just gave me the automated responses. Yeah. And I didn't catch it till later on. I was like, bitch, you know the automated responses? I was sort of bouncing all around telling, oh, there's this thing. It's called Super Nintendo. I was like that girl on American Pie. One time back camp, I was telling him all this. Super Nintendo, there's a Street Fighter game, and this and that. He's like, yeah, that's cool, yeah. And I'd run around and we'd eat paydays and shit and watch football. I didn't give a fuck about football. But anyway, point of the story, I sit there for hours with my dad, spending time with him, going on about these fucking games. And he being an adult, he'd known fucking about that shit. But he entertained me, like, oh yeah. So anyway, didn't think nothing of it. I went home. And then the next day, my grandma comes in and tells me, hey, your dad's here again. And I thought that was weird. I was like, what do you mean? Because he only knew he would come once a day. Or once a weekend, usually on the weekends. That's when he wasn't working and stuff. So I went out, I still remember it. I was barefoot, I think, went out there and said, hey, what are you doing? And I'll never forget it. Like, he was just, again, it's the casualness. We talk about the casualness of these things that hit us. We're like, how's this casual to you? Like, he comes up and he was like, he goes, oh, I thought you wanted, he goes, I came by, he goes, because I'm trying to think how he said it. He was like, I thought you wanted to go get that game thing you're talking about. That's exactly what he said. I thought you wanted to go get that game thing you're talking about. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, yesterday at the bar you're talking about the game thing. I was like, my brain fucking shorted. I was like, what the fuck? And like, I could not burn my ass in the house fast enough. I think I put on clips. I don't remember. I probably went barefoot, but I burned in there, told my grandma with my dad, flew in the car, and this is before Walmart superstores. This was a regular Walmart, the tiny ones. Yeah. So I'm like this, nervous. My dad's driving off. I was like, he could not go fast enough. The car go faster. Like, we're driving out there, and I'm like, oh, this and that. And then when we get to Walmart, I remember we parked, I booked it. He's mad. I booked it across the road. Gone, went in the store. And I remember the electronics was kind of in the center part of the store. Yeah. And they used to have Nintendo stands out there and all this shit. Anyway, it was kind of a C-shaped little room you walk in, basically, a closed off section. Yeah. Well, I remember burning my ass in there, and I'm looking around, and I see all the Super Nintendo shit on the glass cases, all the fucking games like this. This memory stick in my brain in the glass case, And so he comes, he just strolls, he's all calm, And then I remember this Walmart kid didn't give a shit. And he goes, all right, so which one did you want? I'm nervous. I don't know why I was nervous. Like, I was terrified to ask for anything. And he goes, well, what is it you're talking about? I go, the Super Nintendo. I was like literally like shaking, like, oh, the Super Nintendo. And he was like, it was the one that had the Mario World in it and the basic setup, whatever. Yeah. And so it was all right. He goes, well, what does it have games or what does it do? And I was like, well, it comes with a game. You put the game in and you play them. And he goes, all all right, we'll grab a couple games with it to go with it. I was like I almost had a fucking seizure. Because them games back then, they were real expensive.
Like $70.
Yeah.
For us, I mean, to be that poor and to get a game, a new game system.
It blew my fucking wig and him to be that casual. I was like, you can't be casual about this. And so
that's like the equivalent of someone coming up and giving us a Lamborghini right now.
To us, y'all may think it's crazy, but to us, when you're a kid, man, it was gold.
Right.
And so I always remember looking through the glass and I seen Street Fighter and I seen Final Fight. And he goes, which ones do you want? And I was like, I want those two. I was scared. Anyway, I don't know why, I was just a kid, but so the kid opens the glass. Kid didn't give a shit. And I remember holding, I was like, what the fuck, this doesn't happen, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want y'all to think I was an abused kid or nothing. It's just, we didn't have a lot when I was a kid.
Poor.
And so we just didn't get all I wasn't like Cody and them getting all the shit all fresh all the time.
Yeah.
And I got them and took the Super Nintendo, and I felt bad, like, we went and bought, and it had to cost a couple $100, I'm sure it did. I don't remember how much it is now, but how much it was, but we went home. I felt bad in hindsight. All right, Dad, I literally could not get out of the car fast enough. I grabbed the shit and I ran in the house and and went there and played the game. And after I felt bad, I said, man, I kind of brushed my dad off. I felt bad, but he was happy though. But what blew my wig was that he listened. Like, I'm bouncing, like.
Yeah. Yeah. You'd think he wasn't paying attention, but he actually was. And that something like that is just fucking.
The reason why I'm so upset is my dad died in 2009.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of good memories with my dad, but it's just weird that I can say that of all things with my dad, being who he was and worlds away from what I was in, whatever, that we had a thing with games. Left field, as weird as that is.
Yeah, I remember his dad buying me a game. I guess
that's a crazy story.
Yeah, he came up and picked me up, and I think it might have been Jose or something.
No,
I don't remember.
What it was again, like I told you, every Saturday, usually on Saturdays, my dad would come by, and so it was Rob, Jose, my cousin Lloyd, all of us was there. We're hanging out at my grandma's. My dad pulls up, and he's like, hey, he would always call me Bond Love. That was his nickname. He was like, hey, let's go. We're gonna go to wherever. And I kind of was stuck. I felt bad. I said, well, Rob just got here. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to tell Rob, hey, fuck off. And my dad, he just stopped just for a second. Goes, well, fuck it, tell him, come on. He goes, I was like, what? and so I was like, what do you mean? Jose said, tell him, come on. So literally, it was me, my dad, Jose, I think Totsi, and you, and maybe even Bubba. Anyway, we loaded and packed in this little fucking car he had, and we drove all the way over across town to this lady's house. It was a lady friend of his, and she had a big, nice fucking house and built-in swimming pool and all this shit.
Yeah.
And we went over there. It was summertime. It was weird. And the whole time, I'm like, something's up. What's going on with this? Cooking big old steaks and swimming, and it was insane. Yeah. And the whole time, Rob was telling me, Rob was like tripping. I was like, what the fuck? Because this stuff didn't happen to us. Like for Rob didn't really know his dad, and so he was in his own situation. So he just blew his wig back. Jose don't give a fuck. You ain't gonna stand. He went for a ride. My cousin was there. It was just a surreal. My dad did shit like that though. Like he would just casually shock you with shit. And then what's funny, we fucking left from there. We went to the fucking go-karts. It blew my fucking mind seeing my dad. We talked him into getting on the go-karts. And we were all driving, racing on this bitch. I'll never forget that. I was like, those are some of the best memories I have. Like, going racing. Jose crashed off of my car. He turned the corner. You ain't gonna see. He almost went up on top of me on the go-kart. We were laughing, having people getting mad. But then we passed by this, what Rob was talking about. We're going through River Oaks, and there was a video store that was there. And for whatever reason, I said, hey, they got games there. And he goes, all right, let's go. We stopped. And we went in there. They had stacks. They had shit tons of Sega Genesis games and a bunch. Remember the bins? They had the bins, whatever. And my dad goes, y'all grab whatever you want. I was like, what the fuck? We're like, me and Rob, he goes, Rob, get you some too. And Rob was like, what the fuck? We literally loaded up on, that's when I got a Sega Genesis, I think. I bought the Genesis there. Got a bunch of shit, and we might have, I don't remember, but you loaded up. We were just tripping, remember that? And it just blew my wig. But what it was, my dad had gotten hurt at some restaurant or some shit, and they paid him a bunch of money. And so he had gotten his settlement, and so he came and he didn't give a shit. My dad shared his shit, he was always like that. But what I'm saying about Street Fighter is that I recently, past a couple of years ago, I come across Street Fighter for Super Nintendo in the box complete. and I snatched it up and I bought it. I don't know if it's real valuable or whatever, but I bought it to collect because I collect games, but I bought it mainly for that memory. Like,
So the first games you chose for Super Nintendo was Street Fighter and Final Fight. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Dang, that's insane. That'd be
so
like
that was like launch title shit.
that's like bigger than Christmas, just like on a on a regular day.
You're just so casual about it.
Yeah.
But I bought that game because not just for me, but because for that memory, because it reminds me of him.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I don't mean to get all soggy and shit, but
no, that's understandable shit.
it's just I thought it'd be a funny story to share with you all.
Yeah. Well, mine's, I could probably share the story when I got my Super Nintendo. It's not as great as that one, but because like I had a Nintendo NES for a long time. I think they got lucky. My grandma went to yard sales every week, like several times a week, and sometimes she'd get lucky and find games. And that's how I got a lot of my stuff back then. So I had the NES, and then the Super Nintendo came out. I remember seeing the commercials on TV.
So that's the new Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
What about it?
They say it has 16-bit technology, whatever that means.
I think Jason.
Oh, and also, not to interrupt you, during that time, that was when I wasn't around, Rob. I was across town because that's when Super Nintendo came out. I was at a whole other middle school. I lived for 2 years, but we still would correspond. I moved across town, but my grandma lived a couple blocks from Rob, so
we would still see each
it was
other.
during that time, just throw that in there, so I didn't see him all the time. So I'm over there getting my Super Nintendo feel from a whole other group, but we still kept,
I think you and Cody got it first.
Always Cody got it.
And then I think you got it, and then later I got it.
That was the one time I won up Rob because again it came up because of my dad.
I'm pretty sure you got it before me. And I'm over here playing NES. Fuck.
That was the one time I got Rob. I won up to.
NES was great and all, but I remember seeing the commercial with Super Mario, and showed Mario run across the stages.
Suddenly, the sky is a little clearer. The water is a little bluer. The road's a little bumpier. The jumps are harder. The level's deeper. The character's smarter. The sound is hotter. The graphics cooler. The secret's darker. The danger's fiercer. The challenge a whole lot tougher. And suddenly the world's a more exciting place to be. Super Mario World. It comes only as part of the system it was created for. The Super Nintendo Entertainment System. The next generation from Nintendo. Now you're playing with power. Super power.
Yeah, they look fucking insane. From NES.
Super Nintendo, Super Mario World was amazing.
The upgrade from NES to Super Nintendo. Like nowadays,
that was the easiest sell ever, man.
Nowadays, when you get a new system, it doesn't seem that big of an upgrade, really. Like PS4 to PS5 is not that great of a. I mean, kind of is, but it ain't. But back then, like when you had a new system, the upgrades and graphics were insane. So it was
like
NES,
world changing,
Yeah, from NES, where you can barely sometimes tell what shit is, ultra blocky, to fucking Super Nintendo, like way more colors and way more detail, and it was just.
I'll never forget that. That burned in my brain. Seeing the Toys R Us, the Super Nintendo displays.
Yeah. I would sit there and watch the fucking commercials and read magazines. Man, I would play it when I could, whenever I seen like Cody or Jason.
I was a nerd in new school, same kind of kids, but there's this one kid, he was a Bill type kid. Real nice. He was a nice kid, but sure reminded me of Bill. Had blonde hair. He got picked on a lot, and I kind of gravitated towards him because I was like him, But he got picked on, and then he had a Super Nintendo, and he had it when it just came out too. It was new. And he had Zelda, so that's where I got Zelda from. I'd walk to his house. I remember this kid always make fucking wallets out of fucking duct tape. He was so proud of his fucking wallets and duct tape. I think he offered me one. That's how we became friends. But we walked to his house. And he introduced me to PC games too, way back then. Buck Rogers and Show, blown away by those fucking graphics. That's a whole other dimension.
Yeah, PC.
What the fuck? Old '90s fucking it blew my mind.
Yeah.
But mainly we'd play Super Nintendo. I played Zelda. He would show me. I'd still watch him play. And it got to where I'd sit and watch people play. Like I was like, I like to just chill, and see the stories unfold. He'd play a lot. But I was introduced to Zelda. I think I might have told Rob that. Story. Yeah. I got a little taste of Zelda, because of that. I said, "Ooh, you get to kill him and that." And that's what got me into the whole real time, like the action RPG. That's what I came up with.
Yeah.
Other kids might have come up with like Final Fantasy and shit. So, but yeah, it's all those random stories, man. Way back then, something's all linked, Yeah,
it's insane thinking back. But like, what Where was that? I was saying. No. I remember, you know, I was late to the Super Nintendo party, and finally my grandma, she knew I'd wanted it for a long time, but they didn't want to buy it brand new, I guess, because it was like $200, I think, back then.
It was pricey back then, man.
You know, for they looked at it as like a toy. It's, you know, $200 is a lot to pay for like a toy.
Yeah, it was like $200, and then games were $70 each.
Yeah. So, and we were kind of poor. I mean, you know, my grandparents had a little bit of money, but anyway. So finally, she found one at a garage sale and bought it for a good price. And I had Mario. Yeah, all I got was Mario at first. And I played the shit out. All I had was Super Mario. I played the shit out of it. Like, I mean, like every day, every moment. That was the way I was fucking playing Super Mario World. I got the fucking all the secrets, everything, the Star Road.
Burned through that game too.
Yeah, played it. I unlocked every level.
Chocolate Island bullshit.
Yeah, all that shit. Every single secret probably in the whole game. And it was great. Like it was fucking insane. We were like, that was the beginning of a new era of fucking.
Oh yeah, seeing Yoshi and all that shit.
Yeah, better graphics and sound and everything. It's fucking just insane. I remember, and I started renting games. I think the first game that I rented was Castlevania 4, Super Castlevania 4.
That game was scary as shit when we were kids.
I remember, like, yeah, my grandma would come in there off and on, you know, just to check on me and talk to me, and my grandpa too. But she came in there when I was playing. I just started Castlevania 4, where the gate's coming up and you're walking through, and there's like enemies on the other side of the gate, and you can go through the gate and all this shit. I was like, look at that shit. Like, I was trying to tell her.
Make her understand.
I was like, this has not existed before. Like, just this level of fucking, and the music, Castlevania's music.
Man, going from Nintendo to fucking.
Yeah.
That's a big jump, man. Nintendo
to like the Castlevania soundtrack was a fucking badass. I was fucking into it. Like
I love Castlevania 3, 1 and 3.
Yeah. I like
to see Super's Castlevania.
Yeah, I played all of them too. I had
the mode 7 with the rotation.
Yeah, the rotation was blowing my mind.
They milked the fuck out of mode 7.
Yeah, you could fucking whip onto something and then the world would change.
I was like, what's that?
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah, it just blew our mind. Just everything coming together, the graphics and the sound and the new gameplay improvements and everything. I would rent games. I would like mow lawns and stuff to go rent a game, and that's how I played most of my stuff for a while. Was just renting it. But yeah, that was pretty much all my story. Getting the Super Nintendo.
Well, see, sad note to my story. Living where I live, and people around people I had, my shit didn't last long, so it sucks. Like the Super Nintendo I had ended up getting stolen. And then the Genesis got stolen, I'm sure, and then fucking all that. Had a fucking Dreamcast Saturn I bought from you.
Oh, yeah.
Bought this fucking Saturn. That thing was expensive. Bought it from you, whatever, back then. I remember playing Marvel vs. Capcom, the 2D one, had the 3D backgrounds.
It's probably a Dreamcast thing.
One of them ones you sold me.
Yeah, that was Dreamcast.
I literally playing in my room. I said, all right, I'm going to walk up to the store, go get a drink. I come back and you see the dust outline. There's the shit we dealt with. It got to I didn't even care anymore. Like,
yeah.
So that's why I piggybacked off Rob.
Yeah.
And that's why like I hold on to those kind of memories. It's like, man, because a lot of shit didn't last, but we held on to, we picked and chose what we held on to, what was important, So that's why people may say, oh, y'all are nerds, or that's a little too much to be crying over shit like that. It's like, no. I was like, that's important to us because that was our childhood, Like,
I mean, it can't be any worse than some of these kids nowadays. Just crying over stuff. So.
Well, I ain't crying for the game. I'm crying, because with my dad, memories and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's why I hold that shit, Like,
Yeah. A lot of very important memories to us, or links to.
Yeah, lots of a big chunk of our lives is tied with fucking games. It's weird.
Yeah.
And it sounds crazy, but it's just, even to this day, it still is. You know, shit. Like Rob says, it helps him with like a therapy. You know, like
Yeah.
I don't play games hardcore every day
Yeah.
like Rob does, but I got certain things I mess with. You know, on computer, PC, and shit. I try to build stuff, but I mean, as far as Nintendo, real quick, the regular Nintendo. I was about 5 years old when it came out. I was living over with my grandma, my Uncle George. Funny story. My Uncle George, I don't know how old he was. He was older. And I had my two cousins. They were 5 years older than me. They're older than my sister. Anyway, I was introduced to a lot of games because of them. I'm just a little 5-year-old hearing off what they're saying. They're geeking up. Something like, what the fuck is that? You know. And I remember all days, in particular, they were bugging George. Before that, I remember the Nintendo. The night they brought the Nintendo, I was back in the 80s, like fucking 80, 85, 86. Like, it was brand new. They brought the big old box home, and I remember hooking that. I don't know what the fuck it was, but I was amazed by it. And I seen it put the Mario on the screen, and I was just, from that moment, I was like, wow, you know. And I remember them telling me, don't touch it, you'll break it. Apparently I'm gonna break the motherfucker by touching the controller. That's what my cousins told me. Don't touch it, you'll break it. They had the little zapper gun. And I remember my grandma used to lay in bed and she'd shoot the ducks and she'd squint so fucking hard I couldn't feel her eyes were closed, but she'd hit every fucking duck. Just random memories. But anyway, fast forward, they're bugging my uncle. Oh, George, there's this game called Castlevania. It's fucking amazing. This is '87. Fast forward, you know, George's like, it's kind of like my dad. Yeah. All day my cousins bugged him. And they showed pictures. Look, it looks like Castlevania and all this. And I'm starting to follow them around, just keep listening to what they're saying. And then he casually, he busts out. He had it in his pocket. He went and bought it and just fucked with them all day and let them bang on. He had it all day, just fucking with them, you know. And then I remember them telling about Ghosts and Goblins. I was scared as fuck of that game. Like, I see them play it, just the title screen and shit. I mean, it was a world. It was weird, you know. Like, and seeing all scary, the monsters, like, it legit was like shit that sticks with you, you know.
Yeah.
But eventually with the Nintendo, there was a Kmart down here back in the day. It ain't there now, but my mom gave me $100, I think it was, me and my sister. And I went and snatched the Super Nintendo. This is back. I didn't get mine until '88. About 3 years after it came out, brand new. Finally got that. I moved over there with my mom and my stepdad. That's another story. But I remember finding a Game Pro. I think issue number 1 or one of the issues. It had Double Dragon in it. I was oh wow! I was amazed. Just everything you find, you can't absorb enough, you know. But that was back in the day, back when it was fucking new, and it blows my mind now to say, man, I'm this old now, and all that's like seems ancient.
It's like another world.
But I can remember
another lifetime.
Yeah. That was 30. My God, man, 38, 19, 34 years ago, or shit type shit. That blows my fucking wig, dude. Y'all, they're like, what the fuck, you know? But they're for real, like.
Yeah.
But I remember like it was yesterday. That's sad. I can't remember what I did 2 days ago, but I remember 34 fucking years ago.
Yeah.
But anyway, we rambled.
Yeah.
That was our story. We'll probably go more in depth with them sometime.
Yeah.
But
maybe run through the systems or something like that.
yeah. Maybe go a little bit more, tell you some more funny stories.
Yeah.
I got a lot of funny stories.
We'll
come back with some more videos.
Yep. And share our old. We're like two old guys
We're
in
glad
the
we're in the
rocket
rocket chair.
chair. Telling our stories.
That's your thing called pixels. We had pixels. That's all we had.
Bits of power.
What happened to polygons? We're going to polygon. The fuck's a polygon?
Yeah.
That's my question in the comments.
Yep.
Are polygons still a thing? I don't fucking know, but polygon is still a thing.
Yep.
I don't know what the fuck a polygon is. I remember I was amazed by it though.
Yeah.
I'll make a video about the gimmicks. Then make the catchphrases.
Oh yeah.
But anyway.
All right. All right. Peace out, y'all. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.
Do all that. You want to talk shit on the comments, whatever you want to say. Whatever you got to do.
Later.